register.com back then. It was like brand new. And I started searching names, thinking of them as real estate. Exactly so the same instinct, right? It's like I'm building real estate because I'm into permanence and value. I'm trying to experiment with names because permanence and value, it all kind of rhymes with me with real estate, right? It's the real estate of the internet. It clued into me that in a neighborhood of 1,000 homes or 10,000 homes in one little town, that names, words, English words that made sense, that were short words, 2-word phrases, even there weren't enough to go around, right? It gets thin fast, pickup trucks, pickup truck, okay, that's 2. Pickup dash truck, pickup dash trucks, that's 4, right? And then it gets thin fast. You can go into Ford F-150, but that's a trademark, right? And you just know that somebody's coming for you if you take their direct mark. It's just instinctive. You can't do that, right? It has no permanence or value. Maybe pawn off the traffic and make money under the cloud of potential litigation, but you can't win long term. So those generics, used trucks, used truck, that's 2 more, that's 6. And as it gets thin fast, as you go, as you discover search terms and different keywords on the internet that are popular.
This guy right here is the biggest guy in the digital real estate world.
That's a catchphrase. It's generic. It's nobody's providence. So I registered car of the future, cars of the future. And it gets thin fast, right? Within 500 words or phrases, you're out of words to describe vehicles in a generic way. And so I was like, this could be a good thing, I should do this.
We're going through that again. History always repeats itself. You guys have taken all the .coms, right? And now there's a new generation. They don't even use Facebook. They use TikTok. And they're adapting these new extensions because it's not, it's cool to them. They like chess.club. And, they don't go get. So what do you think about the increase in .club based off the conversations we're having here and people becoming aware of different opportunities?
I like all these new extensions. I really do. I think it's like a marathon. It's like .club is a great extension, right? You have .club, you have there's lots of generics out there. XYZ's built a bit of a following, right? Because they have their big footprint, right? So they've gone really big, giving away free registrations early. Those have then built in like a resonance, but I like club better than I like XYZ because it means something, right? And then you have Link, which we run, right? Which I like also. Joe Biden used Joe.link during the campaign, right? That was great. And then there are other generics, but the point is, it's kind of the same game, but with the new extensions, you want to target those shorter words. Back then, pickup dash trucks was like a viable option in 1999, 2000. Like that was seriously talked about. Like we would go out and go, should I take it? Should I not take it? Should I leave it? And then be gone 2 days later. You had that kind of luxury. You could be in a chat room, a domain chat room on ICQ back then, right? And be talking to some other, kind of like what we're doing now, only in text. And be like, should I take this? Should I not take this? I don't know. I'll think about it tonight. In the morning, you'd be gone. And somebody would be like, damn, somebody took pickup dash trucks. Can you believe it? I'm going to take all the other pickup trucks. And it's literally like that, kind of like on history on repeat, Only in this time around, you realize because there are more extensions, you're targeting more of the generics, right? The ones that seem like they're going to work, the ones that are in use, the ones that you see in the wild, the ones that you see, elsewhere out there. And you're taking bigger, more generic names, more like you're not taking pickup dash trucks, you're taking pickup trucks. And then if that's not available, you're taking trucks. And if that's not available, you're going to another namespace to take trucks or pickup trucks. You're not going further afield, deeper and deeper into that same namespace, right? Because it doesn't work that way. Because, trucks.link is not going to sit there, or pickup trucks.link is not going to sit there, or pickup truck.link is not going to sit there. Everything has gone in .club and vice versa, right? Or in other namespaces, .tech, or, if you're in technology, or, you got to follow the generics, follow the generic strings, follow the strings that are getting used. And it's tough to lose. And go with low price extensions, because registries had a really tough time bringing all these strings to market because as a registry operator, as the guy who's running an extension, right, or 20 plus, the problem is, and it's a huge problem, how do you make money to survive? You have to make enough money selling registrations to survive. Often, I used to joke, the best way to get value out of a new registry is just buy all the good names in it and just at low prices, and then just pay your renewals and let the registry manage all the bullshit, of running the registry, which is a lot of bullshit, It's a lot easier. You need a lot of registrations to be profitable, So
Frank, thanks for those insights. Now we have Colin. Colin is the CEO of Dot Club, and thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to meet you. Frank just brought up a good point, which is it's a lot of bullshit to run a registry. Can you give us some insights into what Dot Club is all about, and what you guys are seeing right now in terms of adoption?
He's the dude that owns Dot Club.
Colin, are you there?
Colin, are you there? Where you at, Colin?
Oh, hello?
Hi there.
Hey, I'm the worst technology person in the world. This is the second time I've ever joined this.
Thank you for joining us.
Is it? I'm on. Okay, that's cool. I actually heard you, Frank, talk for about 2 minutes here. By the way, what is the toilet paper test? Can you remind me of that one?
What?
Oh God, let me remember.
Remember?
Yeah, that's right. So if it's if you would get toilet paper in it, it works. So toiletpaper.club works. Good one, right?
It sort of works for the pandemic, doesn't it? Right? It sort of does,
right? Toiletpaper.link, toiletpaper.tech does not work. Toiletpaper.bankrupt does not work. Toiletpaper.flowers, nope, doesn't work. So for the generic strings, you should put the word, my old adage was put the word toilet paper, and if it works with toilet paper, it's probably a good one to hold as a generic, because it'll work with razor blades or nuclear fusion or lamp posts or plumbing parts or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, but toilet paper is your litmus test. If it works for toilet paper, it'll work for everything.
He literally talked about this at multiple trade shows, and I literally looked at that and said, you know what? It works for Club. I never imagined we'd have a pandemic where toiletpaper.club would really work, but that being said.
But I think we turned that on its head.
I just looked up that name. My brother owns a company called Real Paper, and it's a toilet paper subscription company that launched just before the pandemic, and they did $5 million in sales. And it's funny. As you mentioned that, Frank, I looked it up and someone took it, but I'm going to hire Ryan to help them get that name because it's perfect for what they do. And, that's the education that we've learned over here, right? Ryan, Bruce, George, we've all built a community. And what you guys are seeing in the back end is more sales, more adoption of Dot Club. And I would plead with you, Colin, to allow us, give us the resources to keep this going.
What do you mean by resources? I'm by the way, I'm actually sitting in my backyard, and there's a huge ship going by. It's very noisy. I apologize about that. I'll go inside. I'm going to have to go inside. Sorry. But tell me what you mean by resources. What do you mean by that?
I had a conversation with Michelle at your office earlier today.
Okay.
And, that's pretty much all I need.
Sorry, I'm confused. So what do you need? What are you talking about resources? Do you mean people helping you sell the names, or?
No.
What are you looking for?
What we're doing here is we're building a community where we're creating awareness about domain investing. We're creating something called Dre Academy, where
I've heard some very good things about that. Very good things about that.
Thank you. It's just shaping up, and it's a collective effort. And what we're doing is we're trying to create awareness about. We're trying to create the next Frank Schilling and the next Colin, right? And I think that person is listening right now.
Cool, man. Wait, did I leave?
No, you're still here, Frank.
Still there.
Yeah, but I'd like to add.
You're the old guy. I'm the young guy now. I'm the junior. You're the old guy.
It's too funny.
No, I think you're onto something. Let's be honest. This is such a confusing space. And you know what, you're onto something really big there, and I think education around this is key.
Yeah.
And I think Frank was interesting. When I did listen for about 2 minutes when I came in, and just listening to him and understanding, like, he's an incredible person. He's done incredible things. And registries are very complicated back end systems, and we have hundreds of contracts with registrars around the globe, and it's very complicated from a registry perspective. I have to say that.
Just as bifurcated, and not to confuse everybody, but just as complicated. What I meant was, running a registry, there's two parts to it. There's one is being like Colin and owning a great namespace like .club, right? It's a great namespace. He's done a great job with it. His whole team is amazing. Put that to one side. Behind the curtain is a bunch of technological infrastructure that brings it all to life. We're in that business as well. We do a lot of that. I love that business. I love the technological side of it. I've been doing that for like my whole career. That's my passion. That and names and the old SLB business that I had, the domain name business, are my passions. I love the string business too. The part that Colin does so well is the part that I kind of maybe shy away from a little bit, which is running the actual business of the registry. I'm more on the tech side, and I like running the infrastructure and the back end kit. So it's a little bit of a delineation, because Colin will use a back end provider, like an infrastructure provider, to bring the kit to life, but he runs the business of .club, right? Am I calling that right, bro?
No, you are calling it. I do.
I want to mention. I want to speak in regards to the toilet paper test, because I really think that it doesn't really stand true with our movement that we got here. When I look at someone like Frank Schilling, he's got .audio, .auto, .Black Friday, .car, .cars. A lot of these extensions, most of the people in this group have no idea even exist. Most people who come into this group don't even know domain investing.
This is a long, slow journey. And the truth is, not all of those. There are quite a few extensions out there, but the point is, the generics like .club, there are very few, right? The club, link, click. Colin, help me. What are the generics as you see it, like that are truly generic?
I call it a little. I have a bit of a different category. I actually go generics, pure generics, like a .online, like a .site.
Online. I agree.
Like .website, right? And then you go into the generics with meaning, like .org, .club. Like club obviously is very relevant for Clubhouse. You can see that it's very relevant. My wife and I bought a school in Fort Lauderdale, and we called it, we registered the domain name littleflowermontessori.org. We chose a .org over .com, and actually people are using .clubs over .com, because it's all about, exclusivity, or about community, or about different things. And I think now then you got the niche. So you go to Donuts there. Donuts is a very large registry, which Frank knows about. And they have about 250 names, and they're pretty much all like niche names. They're very niche. I think their biggest name is .live. Exactly. Right. .furniture. So I think ultimately, I don't think anyone's going to care about the .com ultimately, but we're still 10 to 15 years away from that. We're still 10 to 15 years away from that. So
but that's coming quick. With this group, we can drive sales to .auto. We could drive sales to .auto very quickly.
I think if you look to the future, it's going to be more of a. It's going to be definitely. There's going to be .com. There are going to be some secondary generics that feel like .com, .club, link, online.
Don't call it generic. Don't call it generic. Please don't do that.
Not generic. I mean, it is generic. It is a targeted group, I guess.
We're like a .org. We're like a generic.
Right. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm picking on you, Frank.
No, you're passionate about it. I love it. Don't change. And then, and then you got, and then you'll have, a bunch of esoteric. You'll have span the dots. Where it's like your business is called, XYZ Enterprises or something Enterprises, Bob's Enterprises, or whatever Enterprises, and there'll be a .enterprises, which is a span the dot. So they'll all live. I think, the difference is that in the past, everybody had a whole lot of .com names. In the future, everybody's going to have a .com name and a whole lot of other names. So .com doesn't go away. It'll be kind of like the nostalgic, oh, you've been around that long. You have a .com. Oh, wow. It's a little bit of a nostalgic thing. More people have more names because, going back to my earliest comment, there just aren't enough good names to go around, and because everybody doesn't just get one, they get multiples, and then there aren't enough to go around, and so it's
Frank, I'd like to know from you and Colin, what do you guys think about the rest of the social media around the domain name? Now the world's exploding, but kids on all the, social media for TikTok, for Twitter and everything else. Did you, Frank, did you and Colin, Frank in particular, did you ever get into those?
I like Triller. I like TikTok. I think those are great platforms, TikTok and Triller. I like Triller because it's licensed. It's American technology. I like TikTok, just in general, because they were the first to kind of really run with the platform. But I like Triller because of its growth trajectory. So it's growing faster based on its size than would be like a TikTok. And they have licensed content and a lot of really content creators. So it's like, if you wanted to, if your kids wanted to get famous or you knew somebody who wanted to get famous and had talent, Triller is where I would be, right? And then you've got Twitter. I mean, all that, Twitter handles, and Twitter's really become more almost like a journalism, statement sharing mechanism, as opposed to, it's so funny because it can do what Instagram can in terms of photography, sharing photographs and everything, but it's become really more of a de facto, people have a short statement to say, quotes by everybody is Twitter, really. And I love Instagram, just because it's like television now. I mean, the new TV. I don't watch television anymore. I go to Instagram. I catch up with my friends. I catch up with things I'm interested in.
Andrew just hit me saying Triller.
Right?
So I get that, but does the younger generation care? I mean, when was the last time you sold a .hip hop for 5 figures, 6 figures? I mean, I'm confident we can tonight, right now.
He in the group.
Oh, fire, brother. Well, I gotta be honest. I'm gonna sound like the most vapid, detached motherfucker you ever met. I don't mean to, but it's like I wouldn't even know if it happened. I mean, it's like I mean, just because I don't have my keys on the kingdom of what's going on and watching the dashboard. I mean.
I think we can legitimize a lot of these extensions and drive awareness and make them rank in Google.
They are happening just by this. Look what's happening here. Like if everybody in this forum tonight takes the dot, whatever they want, what does it do? Time marches on. We're all getting older. We're going to hold those names. They're valuable. But the next generation, what's the 10-year-old who's like not on this forum right now, who hasn't heard this conversation? What's he going to buy, or she? So the point is, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Companies keep sweeping up more and more names. In the future, companies don't go away. They just sell these as assets and transfer them. They aggregate them, names in general. They, small companies become big companies. They go from holding like 10, or IBM, like in 1998, held like 10 domain names. Now they have, 10,000, right? So names just go into these giant vortexes of companies. There's not much left for the next generation. So you can't really lose. You take whatever you take tonight. Tomorrow, somebody's going to take what's left, and whatever's left is going to become perceived. If it's good,
couldn't agree more.
They're going to become worth more money because there's only so many ways to describe something. Eventually, it's going to be like you're out of dot whatevers because, I know that sounds like preposterous, but it really, there are the word count. It's so thin, like in terms of how much depth to the word base, this descriptive base of important dictionary words, there's lots of dictionary words, but dictionary words that you can actually use, to describe things, and non-dictionary words, like MILF, NAF, things that aren't in the dictionary per se, that are like still part of common vernacular. There's just not enough. I've seen this show, right? Having been in this business for 20 years, there's not enough inventory to satiate, the demand of the people,
Well, I think there's not enough .com inventory. I think you got a lot of GTLDs out there. But let me switch back a little bit here for a minute. And let's just talk a little bit about the uses of domains. I think it's fascinating that we use an application called Zoom. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. It's called Zoom. And we actually point my Zoom ID. Don't use it, by the way, guys. Okay, come on. Colin.club is my Zoom ID, right? We have execmeeting.club. We have a pawmeeting.club in my paw.com company, right? So we have all these uses of Zoom because they point directly. And I think what's fascinating about Clubhouse and what we're trying to figure out, and I'm very curious to really try to crack that. I know we've had huge, like today is just an absolutely insane number of registrations. But I'm curious, I know.
Is he breaking up for anyone else?
Yeah,
Clubs are using .club.
Hey, Colin, you're breaking up. Can you repeat the last 10, 15 seconds, buddy?
Holy shit. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so what I'm saying is that I think that I'm just curious, like with Zoom, we see the use for a TLD. With the website, we see the use for a TLD, right? We see with the email a use for a TLD. And we're starting to see the use for Clubhouse. And I'm just trying to figure that connection out. Like, why is it that there are a number of big clubs on Clubhouse that use a .club domain? I'm just trying to figure that out. And that's just totally...
It's because of this room right here, but we haven't even driven the awareness for other extensions yet, but that is coming.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing too is you're seeing a lot of influencers start to migrate to .club because it's short, it fits in the profile, and it's a natural synergy with Clubhouse itself. So as some of these influencers on here, with 19, 20,000 followers, begin to get that massive visual exposure every day. And honestly, I mean, for me, I'm on here, I'm probably averaging 12 hours a day. So it's like I've never seen anything in terms of a stickiness like this app. And I think that the viral nature of the exposure of the actual domain name on this platform is really interesting. We've had so many people come through this room. I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of people on a daily basis who are basically learning. They're getting education from a hive mastermind. All this information is being shared, but then you'll see a domain name pop up on a profile, and then there's questions about it. There's connections that are being made. So. It's like a flight to value. It's what's being created here. It's so interesting to me because it's like a new form of, I call it like exponential digital networking. And I've never seen anything like it. The number of connections going back and forth. And I think they crossed 1 million users the other day, didn't they, Ish?
It's just 1 million users. It's still very exclusive. Android users can't use the platform, and so it's just in beta mode right now.
They did a great thing in making it invitation only. And guys, here's what's so amazing about domains. It's not invitation only. We all get a fair shot at going after domains using our own brain, our own passion. And Colin and Frank, wow, for you guys to create a path forward for us and give us ideas, and Ryan, this is tremendous. So thank you for this opportunity.
So Stefan, you've been very actively involved in this group. Can you tell Colin and Frank what you've experienced?
Yeah, so I haven't seen this before. Number one, domaining has always been really nice people that have been helping people. So in the background, this is really freaky. There's people in this group that have been buying domains for other people to give them away and to get someone else started in domaining. And Colin, I think part of it's because you guys have had this 99-cent club and it corresponds with Clubhouse. But what's been happening is people's brains have just been triggered that, man, I can do something very different here. I can shape something very different. I can start something and I can create something of value. So people are flocking here because they found community and the possibility of hoping in something in the future.
I definitely see the link of community. I need to let you guys know that we were a bit concerned about what happened in the last week or two. We're very concerned about domain speculators buying domain names and taking them away from real, users. And the fact of the matter is, we're like the number one renewed domain on GoDaddy of the new domain extensions. We have the highest usage of any TLD. And what happens is if you get bought too much up like an XYZ, I know you love XYZ, Frank, sorry. But if you get bought too much up like with these TLDs, it's gonna hurt it. It's gonna hurt the domain extension. So we raised the price to $2.99. I think it's going in tomorrow or whatever. I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's still a great value.
I know it's still a great value at $2.99, but we're not. I know. Look, guys, a lot of you are domain speculators, a lot of domain investors. I'm okay with that. I believe in you. I have built my company around you. I support you. But what we need to do is list them. I cannot tell you how many times I've talked to domain investors. So I'm holding on. I'm not list them on Cedo, list them on Afternic, list them on GoDaddy. I'm telling you right now, list them on Afternic.
Well, here's the thing, Colin.
Colin, let me speak on behalf of the group when I say this. This is domain 2.0, right? This is the new generation, right? We're creating awareness for people that didn't even know this existed and activating them, not only to go get the right domains, but the vision is to teach them how to develop brands around those domains. Jeffrey, your CMO, has been here. Maybe he can explain to you what he's witnessed.
Go on, Jeffrey.
So, sorry, my mouth was full. The problem when you're listening to these rooms, it's so easy to be doing other things. So I apologize, but thank you. Hi, Colin.
Hey, Jeff.
Long time no see.
Hey, say hi to your friend Frank. What's Frank Schilling? Is that your name again?
Yeah. Hi, Frank. I was in the other room earlier when you were on the call. Anyway, no, it's been a great community, and I think people here do understand that, you know, if you're investing in a domain name, as I said earlier today, you have to have two thoughts in mind. One is it's something that you have an interest in and a passion for that you may want to develop into a business yourself. Or two, you have an idea of who the ideal end user is for that domain so that you can get it to them so that they can do something great with it. And of course, in that instance, you hope to sell it to them at a price higher than what you paid for it. But there always has to be that usage in mind, because it's the usage of the domains that create value for the people who own them and for everyone in the space.
I think one thing we're very big on in this community, and we have Dan Sobol, is one of the leaders of the community. He picked up dressbarn.com because he recognized that the biggest asset for that distressed company was the domain name, right? And the brand equity. And having people like that, and people like Ryan, and people like George, and people like Bruce, right? That represents the entire spectrum of domain investing. I'm an event organizer. Just in March, I organized an event at the convention center that cost me $100,000 to put together. And I couldn't gather this many people. What we're witnessing is not just the app, it's the conversation. This community has relentlessly been inadvertently promoting .club. That's just a fact. And you guys are seeing the result of that. But the bottom line is we're taking another step in educating people on what the big picture is. And we're so blessed to have you legends here and honored. But the reality is, when I said, how can we work together to educate these people who are now coming into this space so that they can turn these domains into brands? I really mean that. I would love to have a private conversation with you guys, because .club should go in the right hands. And that's what we can drive that. You know, we're really driving the adoption. I think that this group deserves the credit for that. It's a collective effort.
Like, guys,
right?
This is a paradigm shift. And what this group has done is insane. I mean, it made me nervous. I'll be honest. We're making a lot of money. And you know what? I'm nervous. All our good domains are going to domain speculators.
I think if we're working together, you don't have to be nervous.
I'm nervous. No, I'm just saying.
I think you don't have to be nervous. I'll give you an example. We have 3 people that I'm going to bring up right now who just joined this group 3 days ago. And they'll tell you their experience. Edna, can you tell them when you joined the group?
I joined the group a couple of days ago, and I will tell you, Colin, that I am somebody who's technologically challenged. I'm not really comfortable with computers, but I saw what was going on. And when they talked about real estate, I'm in the oil and gas industry and the solar industry. And when Ish and these guys started talking about domains and they connected, I made the connection in my head. And it went off like a light. And I said, wow, the domain is like real estate. And I understood it. And I'm someone who, I consider myself a modern elder at 50 plus, right? Technology is difficult for me. And so I embraced it, but I understood that there was something that was going on here. And I decided to jump in. And we collectively, I feel privileged that I was part of putting together the first crowdfunding purchase of chess.club. And so it was a great experience. So it's a testament to people coming together and buying a domain name that could possibly lead to speculation.
You were behind Chess Club?
Yes.
8 of us bought chess.club last night.
8 of us bought chess.club.
40 more people wanted in, but it's only $8,000, so we can't have that many.
It was only 8 of us that got to do it. And so for somebody like me, right, like I'm great at what I do, but when it comes to technology, I'm really, that's like my weakest part. And it was just amazing to be able to participate in that. And so this platform allows people who come from all walks of life. And as long as you have a vision and you see it, so it clicked for me. And today I bought up a lot of domains, and I will gladly give them to someone if they're in that niche, if they're in that world and they need that domain. I'm not somebody, I understand the bigger picture here. So I realize that you're nervous about that, and not everybody here is like me. I'm a generous person. If someone says, hey, Edna, you have that domain and I need it, I'll give it to them. If it makes a difference in their life and they're going to make $1 million, I'm what you call the blue collar millionaire. I work hard, honey. I work hard for my money. And I don't have a problem helping and sharing and giving to others so that they can benefit the same way I did.
And you know what? I agree with everything you're saying. I'm just saying that I'm nervous because there are some domain investors. By the way, we got the biggest domain investor in the entire world, the biggest speculator. He's not a speculator. He's a genius. His name's Frank. And I'd love to hear from you, Frank. But what I'm saying is, let's make this a collaborative effort. Let's take our TLD and not hold it back. Let's let real companies. We have a company called Cred.club. They have a valuation now. It's $800 million. Do we want to hold that domain name back if we were like trying to sell? I'm just saying, guys.
No, man. You wouldn't let it out.
Frank, what do you think?
Let it out. Let it out. Obviously, yeah, man. That's a great namespace. A great name, man. A great name, and you want to have a great company on it.
I think I have a solution, Colin. So we're launching Academy, which is Digital Real Estate Academy, and this is a reminder for everyone. We're launching it with Ryan doing a course on how to be a profitable domain investor. So the whole point is to educate you on what it takes to be a domain investor. Ryan, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, so the original vision is really to, lay out a blueprint and a foundation for new people to come into this space, define who they are, what their area of expertise is, and translate that into profits in the domain space. So we really wanted to provide a comprehensive, educational component, put it on top of this platform, which seems to be working incredibly, to open up access to the world. Right now, we're at a unique point in history. Everybody's locked down. They're craving face-to-face intimacy. They're seeking knowledge, and they're looking for ways. Everybody's doubling and tripling down on digital. So, this is like, I feel like this is like a domains moment again. You know, it's something that, I mean, we have people staying on here, Frank. I mean, I was on here 17 and a half hours and people don't want to leave. Like I fell asleep, you know, and it's not just me. It's just crazy what's going on because the nature of the app is driving social behavior like I've never seen it. It's almost like it's pulling the tribes together just by the way it's designed.
Yeah,
So,
it's great, brother.
Yeah, this club is, you know, we're passionate about domains. We want to talk about all the opportunities, you know, be a broker, be an investor, you know, the whole thing from A to Z. So we hit a nerve. We didn't realize how big of a nerve we hit.
I had no idea how big this was going to be when I came in. But listen, I had no idea how many people were even going to be on here when I logged in. This is my first time on. And look at this. So
Wow.
I'm going to step out. I'm going to leave you to Colin, but I'll try to drop back in. This is dope.
Frank, it was great to see you.
Thanks, Frank.
Honestly, this is the second time I've ever been on. The first time I went on by accident. I was walking my dog.